We need the pussy power. Come on.
Pussy power.
Can't be burned.
My God, that's the first time we said pussy on this show. Yeah, that's episode 2. Pussy counter number 4.
We should say that more. Hot girl psychology. Hot girl psychology. Hot girl psychology.
Welcome to Hot Girl Psychology. We're a girl's girl podcast where attractiveness meets attachment wounds.
Here at Hot Girl Psychology, we believe that the darkest parts of your mind are the sexiest.
I'm Emahlea. I'm a startup founder and CEO, a registered dietitian, and I put the psycho in psychonutritionist.
And I'm Deanna. I'm a clinical psychotherapist, published dark romance author, and recovering people pleaser. I treat complex trauma by day and I live it by night. Welcome, girlies.
Welcome.
Not just this moon, but this year is the year that all of us should be like, we're so back.
We're so fucking back.
So back.
We're so fucking back.
Yes.
Yeah. No, literally.
I love that. That's our thing.
But I actually love that.
But so, okay. I read that you could, if you want to do like a spell or anything of sorts or any type of manifestation for the snow moon, that you're supposed to put ice in your hand, which I usually use for like dissociation.
Fuck ice.
But you put it in your hand and you come up with any type of anything that you want to let go of, put that word into the ice spiritually. Ooh. And then just cup it in your hand until it melts, which sounds pretty fucking miserable.
That is a skill that I teach to my clients to get them to calm down.
Yeah, I teach that for dissociation. Not for DID necessarily, but this type of dissociation where they don't know who they are and they're looking down at their hands. And they're like, I don't know whose hands these are.
Yeah.
I just advise.
For my freak out clients, I'm like, if you're at a 7 out of 10 or above, there's no coming back unless you grab ice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you hold the ice, you speak what you don't need, what you don't want, what you want to release, let go of into the ice,
and then wait for it to melt.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it because I've been without power for over a week and have had no heat. So fuck that. The rest of you should do that.
Well, okay. So if you
let us know how it goes.
No, literally. Like if you had to let go of something for the snow moon. So, okay. So if I had to let go of something for the snow moon, I would let go of urgency. Just like the urgency to like get the fuck there. Like I'm already there. I'm already there and I know I am. And I'm like, just, I have this like emotional inertia, like an object in motion will stay in motion, an object at rest will stay at rest. My like emotional, like just keep running, just keep going. Like it's my flighty kind of sense.
Survival mode.
Exactly. But like, I know I'm not in survival mode anymore, but there's still just like a little element of me that's like trying to like stop running. So urgency was what I would leave. What about you?
That's great. Thank you. Urgency too, I feel like is a choice.
Yes.
You actually need to do the thing now in most cases.
No. And I want to be more like
that.
Feminine, receive, and like just let life come to me because I have been coming to life for so fucking long.
I would love to do an entire episode on feminine energy.
Oh.
Misconceptions.
Let me get into the divine feminine. Yes.
The divine feminine.
Yes. We're all about archetypes here. Yes. Okay. So what would you let go?
Okay. I want to let go of over-personalization.
Tell me more.
Yeah. I'm realizing that I do that a lot. I feel very responsible for other people's feelings.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I can't have any of my own.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to let go of that and actually look at life and situations and be like, how do I feel? How does that person make me feel?
I love that.
Just how do I make them feel? And if they're weird to me, I always think that it's something that I did. It's something
you're too much in your clinical brain.
Yes, I'm too much in my clinical brain, and with parts work, I have a therapist part,
of course,
and I have this I have multiple therapist parts.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You have like sub parts within your therapist part. That's so good.
And I have this very young judgmental therapist part and this like grad school therapist part,
like
therapist part of
like the nutritionist in me that was like, I'm going to go become a nutritionist so I can tell you why what you're eating is wrong.
Yes.
That was literally exactly that was my very first nutritionist moment. And that was the last time I ever did that because I was like, holy shit, you can't tell people shit because that's not okay.
Yeah.
So not okay.
But it makes sense that that's what you thought.
Yeah,
was.
Yeah.
I very much thought that feelings were to be fixed, not felt.
And it's really interesting that you mentioned this. So this is the whole reason why I believe a psychonutritionist has to exist, because as dietitians, we are only in the body. As psychotherapists, you're only in the mind, sort of. For you, like wanting to take things less personally, what I would say to someone like you is when you feel like you take something personally, I was always wondering when Potato would come join us. When you do take something personally, or like when you over personalize something, where do you feel it in your body? Right. And so like paying attention to that is like a way that you could take care of that. Right. So for me, like urgency, I always feel it in my body. I always feel like a sense of like, gotta get it done, you know? And it's like, it's in my chest. It's in my like, in my legs and my hands. It's even in my, jaw kind of, I feel. And it's kind of just like, oh, good, you know, just like, let's move on to the next thing. And it's just, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It takes away being. And so I feel like the majority of the world would benefit from just being.
For sure. I'm big on just being. A lot of people come to therapy thinking that they need to change, and they don't actually need to change. They need to accept who they are versus changing anything. People that come to me and they're just okay, well, what do I do? What do I fix? And I'm like, honey, no, we're not fixing here. You know, because a lot of people think that that's what therapy is, and it's not at all.
It's because people are thinking too much and not being enough.
Yeah, for sure. And also thinking versus feeling.
Yes.
Which is a huge component.
I always say to my clients, and I love when I say this to them, because it's like, blah, and I'm going to say it to all of you right now. The ego thinks and the body feels. Yeah. And it's a big component of like when you listen to yourself talk and you hear yourself say, well, I think versus I feel. There are parts of your life where you're going to say, I think, and it's just your logical self saying, oh, I think that maybe the windshield wiper needs to be replaced.
And we need that logic part.
We do 1,000%.
She's cute.
I'm an ENTJ. Logic is my life. But when you talk about how you feel, like, oh, I feel like the windshield needs to be replaced. That's like you being afraid to say that you have authority.
Right.
That you have knowledge, that you know something is true. And so you dampen it, right? But realistically, you know that the windshield needs to be replaced. You don't think it needs to, like, you know, how I think maybe the reason why this is happening is because. But like when it's I feel this way, it's I feel like I think. And it becomes like a very like feedback system based approach.
Yeah. And people get confused. People get what they think and what they feel.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to feel.
No.
They want to think. And most of my clients, I feel like just want to think versus feel. And that's what I do is help them feel.
Most of my clients are desperate to only think.
Yeah.
And they can't stop feeling.
Okay. Yeah. So our first episode, we talked a lot about hot girl psychology.
We did.
And what it is. And we talked about it being both external and internal.
Yes.
But that the internal part is extremely important because the internal part is the choice.
Yeah.
You make a decision.
Yes.
To be a hot girl.
Agency,
for sure. And we talked also about it being self-concept, self-awareness, and self-validation. Which I love self-validation, being somebody that has been bad at it for a very long time. I love talking about it because I work hard on it and I still work hard on it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a huge thing that changes once you decide to be a hot girl.
Yes.
But what else? What do you think changes in your life within yourself when you've made the decision, I'm a hot girl?
You start to embody, right? Like you start to, as the woo-woos would say, manifest. You start to manifest your hottest self
differently.
You do. You dress differently. You walk differently. You talk differently. You carry yourself differently. You pay attention to the details. You pay attention to the details that were too scary to pay attention to before because everything was so threatening. Because hotness is, yes, it's an external, it's internally and then externally, right? Like you're sweating it out through your pores kind of thing. And I like that. Thanks. I'm all about the body here. I live for the body. But like you start, and then like there's the like kind of fumbling into being a hot girl, which is like just learning about what looks good on you, what actually works. And then there's choosing your own style, your own presentation. Like, what is your
That's
flavor?
the self-concept piece.
It's such a good self-concept piece of it too. And it's turning it into your flavor of hot girl, because like every hot girl is completely unique. We are all so damn unique. I have spent so much time around so many hot women in my life. And I know for a fact that like while we all have this single common thread of hotness that we share, we are all so individualized in such beautiful ways. But that's truly a piece of it, is like learning that like even just your imperfections become hot, right? Like imagine seeing like a statuesque woman and then she has like one little imperfection. It becomes something that's even more perfect about her, not less.
Because uniqueness is hot.
Exactly. What do you think changes when you become a hot girl?
So much.
Tell me.
So much. I think that of course your present changes because the way that you feel about yourself changes, and it just becomes so much more positive, so much more confident.
Yes.
And then your future changes because the opportunities that you'll have and not be afraid to take advantage of and go for, that changes.
So true.
But the craziest thing I think is that your past changes.
Your past changes.
Because the way that you remember things changes.
Tell me.
I mean, we are just the story that we tell ourselves about ourselves.
Okay.
So the story that you tell yourself changes once you're looking at that story through the lens of self-love and confidence.
I can see that.
You know, a lot of our memories are clouded by internalized beliefs and by the trauma brain.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so when you're able to remove those things, it's a clearer memory that you have.
Yeah.
I do think that we all have kind of a negative inner narrator that will narrate our stories.
Right.
You know, so our past.
Right.
And we'll get into these toxic loops. And I think that everybody's toxic loop can look very different. Some people are looking at it through the lens of, I'm unlovable and everybody abandoned me, you know, and that will change the way that they remember things.
Yeah.
The way that they remember their story.
Yeah.
The way that they tell themselves their story. Mm-hmm. Some people might look at it through a victim mentality and like everybody's out to get me, you know, and stuff like that. And we all have that. I feel like my toxic loop specifically, we talked a little bit about this before, but it is very much that I feel responsible for other people's feelings.
Yeah.
And then I'm not allowed to have any of my own feelings.
So like you're like fully erased.
Fully erased. For example, if you and I went to dinner.
Yes.
And let's say you were in a really bad mood. You had a bad day, whatever it is, and you were kind of like snappy and just like made rude comments.
Never. But like literally never. Not to a friend at least.
I've never seen you do this.
No,
I've been in this situation a lot of times, but like you're snappy. I don't know. You're trying to put me down, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I would leave that dinner with the memory in my head of what happened. And I do remember things very vividly, which is a trauma response.
Yeah. So real.
But I would remember it very vividly, but the meaning that I would make out of it would be that you were in a bad mood because of me. I wasn't able to solve your bad mood. I wasn't able to, I guess, make you feel better.
Sure.
And then any rude comments that you made to me, I would take that as a reflection of me versus a reflection of you and your bad mood. So that's where over-personalization comes into play though.
Yeah.
Because in that scenario, I told myself that I was responsible for your feelings. I then didn't give myself the space to identify my feelings and process my feelings.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So you weren't even allowed to have an opinion on it.
No.
Okay. So allowing is a part of being a hot girl.
Yes. That is a huge part of it.
Permission.
Giving yourself the permission
for it
to be, do, and feel.
Yes.
And
to be, to do, to feel.
And so now, and this is something that I still work on. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it, but now, if a situation like that happened, for example, I would leave and try to at least say, okay, she behaved this way because of this. because of X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a reflection on her and her bad day and what's happened to her, not on me specifically. And how the fuck do I feel about it?
That was what I was going to say, is like enlightenment is, she behaved this way, how do I feel?
Yes. Instead of, oh my gosh, she behaves this way, what did I do? What did I do wrong?
Which and that tracks, like that tracks with what you've like told me about you, like historically, like
I've made myself villain
much responsibility
of every story. Yes. Responsibility. And any time that something goes awry interpersonally, I'll take responsibility for it, and then I'm the villain of that story. And I had a therapist say that to me once. She was like, how the fuck are you the villain of every story that you talk about? And I've taken that with me, and I've used that too. And I'm like, how did you become the villain here? You know what I mean?
I love that so much.
And I have a lot of clients that are like me, and like a former version of myself.
I have a lot of clients who are like me. Is that just a thing that we do?
It is a thing. I've talked to other therapists and my supervisor about this.
Or are we all just the same person? Copy paste, copy paste, copy paste.
We are very similar. I mean, that's kind of the collective unconscious. We are all very similar. I've realized anything about humans, it's not that we're all different. It's actually that we're all the same. And I feel like that's a hot take, but that is what.
No, it's so real. Like we share so much DNA. We share so much lived experience. Okay, so you said collective unconscious. Let's explain what that is.
Yeah.
You do it because you are the psychotherapist.
Yes. So down.
So down. Let's go.
So the collective unconscious, it was coined by Carl Jung.
Carl Jung, we love
talk about. And so he was a Swiss psychiatrist, and he believed in the collective unconscious, which is universal patterns that drive the unconscious based on human instinct.
So like things that have been passed down like generation after generation after generation.
Yes, they're inherited. They're inherited.
Yeah.
And it's a common psyche subtrait.
Okay.
So it's also can be called like the objective psyche.
I like that. So the collective unconscious. So Carl Jung came up with the idea of the collective unconscious, and the idea is that you get passed down traits from human to human to human.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter like who you are, where you came from, where you're going. You carry these like personality traits with you that are embedded like deeper in the in the unconscious mind that like kind of guide you to behave a certain kind of way.
They are controlling you. You are not controlling them.
Exactly. So how do you make them less controlling?
Being aware of them.
Okay.
So bringing the unconscious into the conscious. And that is a huge part of most anything that is a deeper form of psychology.
Yeah.
So like Carl Jung was a psychoanalyst, but like existential, any of these things, they aim to do that.
Yeah.
But it really does have a lot to do with the fact that we all have way more in common than we think.
We do.
And so like, for example, if we take a bunch of, and I'm just going to use women, if we take a bunch of women that grow up with an absent father,
sure,
all of those women are likely to go after the same type of man romantically.
An absent man romantically is what I'm hearing.
An absent man usually, yeah. Or an avoidant man.
Yeah.
And
that's attachment style.
That's attachment style. But clearly that's not a coincidence. There's too much to be coincidence. And I feel like that's kind of collective unconscious.
So like too much collective shared experience of like, this is a pattern that stands the test of time.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So
in trauma specifically, I actually, and I would love to study this one day, but I notice a lot of the same clients of mine that have the same types of trauma, a lot of times will have the same types of protective parts.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So Carl Jung came up with these archetypes. Tell me some of the archetypes that you know of.
So I know of the hero,
the
caregiver. I'll get into that. There's definitely a hot girl caregiver for sure.
There sure is.
The orphan.
Okay.
The jester.
Yeah. Is the jester the magician?
Very similar to the tarot card of magician.
Carl Jung, we're going to give you a run for your fucking money. Are you ready?
Get ready. Is he dead?
I don't know.
I think he's dead.
Who's Carl Jung's daughter or son? We're coming for you. My therapist would be so proud. I'm gonna text him after this and be like, guess what I fucking
Guess what?
This is my existential therapist who like taught me all about it. He was like, well, Jung said, and I'm like, tell me what he said.
He's gonna be like, this is a total fucking breach of boundaries. I'm not my client anymore.
But I'm not his client anymore. That's the thing.
So you shouldn't be texting him.
You can email him.
Yeah.
I'm going to email him. another session. Just another session.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So,
okay.
Yes.
So like the Jungian archetypes, I feel like with our archetypes, the hot girl archetypes,
yes,
they're not meant to put anybody into a box.
No.
They're not meant to be stereotypes necessarily.
We flow in between them, which is what Carl Jung had in mind, is that like we flow between different layers of the conscious mind and the unconscious mind.
Yes.
Right. Like, and
there's
there's
in and out of them.
There's primitive layers compared to like the more matured layers, right? And like, so some of the archetypes that you and I will talk about will be more primitive versus more matured.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, more evolved.
More unconscious versus conscious, more evolved versus unevolved.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of them start as unconscious and bringing them into the conscious. It's how you can become a more empowered version of that archetype.
Precisely, because the nervous system has no concept of time, which is why time is not real.
It's a social construct.
Literally, though. Like, actually. Yeah. Which is so weird to think about.
Yeah, we can go on a whole tangent.
Our next guest is going to be Einstein.
Also dead.
But time's not real.
He's not answering my texts. I think he's ghosting me. But
Einstein's ghosting you?
Yeah, I know, right? How dare you?
We're going to cancel Einstein.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're kind of like states that you flow in and out of.
Yeah.
But it's also, it can be very much based on your like trauma, your emotional state, and then also your environment. You can shift into one or the other depending on who you're around or what you're around. I think explaining these archetypes too, we can talk about the way that they are stereotyped and almost fetishized, and then talk about the shadow part and what they really are.
Okay.
That's the young part. Okay.
Cool.
So I want to start with you.
Okay.
Tell me about an archetype that you feel, the hot girl archetype that you feel very strongly about.
Okay. So I feel so again, there's the primitive archetypes and then there's the like more evolved archetypes. So I'm going to start with two. And we'll go back and forth, but I'll start with two that are more primitive, and then I'll start with another, or I'll finish with one that is more graduated / evolved, right?
Yes. Okay.
So the one that we're going to start with is the cool girl. The cool girl is somebody who exists to basically make herself smaller so she can fit into the world that was never designed to hold a person of her level. And what that means is she's somebody who sits with herself and knows she is so much more than what she presents outwardly. But in order to actually keep everybody around her feeling comfortable, she minimizes herself. She will be fluid and she will fit. She's like a chameleon. She'll fit. It's almost like kind of like, I don't know. There's a lot of these that can be kind of BPD, but like she'll like fit.
Everyone has BPD.
We all have BPD, bitches. Moral of this episode. No, like that's the moral of the whole fucking thing. Like we're all BPD deep down inside. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. But I can't say that. I'm not a therapist. So I'm just a dietitian.
We all have it.
Well, you heard it here first, folks.
If you don't, good for you. You're boring. We're getting off topic.
Anyway, the cool girl. So basically she makes herself smaller. She tries to fit into a mold that is like, it's not a big deal. Like, don't worry. I'm fine. I'm okay. Like, no worries. It's all chill. It's all cool. Like, we're good.
Cool girl.
Yeah. She's goes with the flow. She's chill. She's fine.
Everyone.
She's like, what if you smoked weed and never did anything else ever? But like, actually, like literally, like it's basically like
guys really like
guys love the cool girl, but they never want to go further with her. They want her to just be a friend. She's like almost like a sister at times.
Yeah.
And like that's cool because like, you know, she enjoys like the opportunity to just be accepted and to just be part of something and just be there. And that's awesome. Like it's amazing. Like if you've never experienced being there, being part of something, like that is so enticing.
Yeah.
But you end up learning that you erase yourself. And that self-erasure results in you never being able to actually become more, right? Which is why it's such an unconscious layer, because this is what drives you. Like, no worries, we're good, it's fine, everything's cool. So like one of the things that I used to be kind of a cool girl at times, not often, but like somewhat. Typically when meeting new people in my past, I would be cool girl and then I would be like not so cool girl. And what I would end up experiencing,
was that kind of a mask that you wore, or did you really feel like you embodied that at the time?
good question. I feel like what I ended up doing was when I would first meet people, I would be very cool girl. And then as time went on, I would be much less cool girl. And I'd be into the second one, which I'll talk about.
Okay. So it sounds like, it was a little bit of a mask.
A little bit. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. So it was a bit of a mask just to kind of like, I guess, test the waters kind of thing to see like, okay, really. And then like in situations that were super low stakes, easy to be cool girl because nothing mattered, right? Like, so like we do flow in and out of these archetypes without like worrying about like what the impact is, because sometimes it's less stakes.
Right.
So the cool girl is always trying to adapt and just like fit in and be there, and just like she's there to accommodate, she's there to exist, she's there to just like make life comfortable for everyone around her.
She's socially overfunctioning.
Yes. And she's underfunctioning within herself, right? Because she's not speaking her truth. She's not speaking her needs. She ignores her body. She ignores when her body says no.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's the issue, is like the cool girl can find herself in situations that really suck ass. Yeah. But she's a more primitive form of a hot girl archetype, right? Like she's not fully illuminated to the reality that like you can have agency, you can have choice. She's more, I just want to be here. I just want to be accepted. I just want to matter. I want to exist. Yeah, exactly. And she's desirable to men because she doesn't exist.
Wow. Let's just pause on that. What a powerful statement. That's so true. Yeah. And it's so sad. It is sad, honestly. That's why I think it's so powerful.
Yeah, it is. And like, that's the thing about these like hot girl archetypes is like some of them are more primitive. And when I say primitive, I mean they're for men. Truly. Yeah. They're for the male
fetishized by men, for sure.
Completely. So, okay. What about you? What's your archetype that you want to get into first?
So I have one that really intrigues me.
Yes.
And she is called the lover girl.
The lover girl?
Yes.
Okay.
So the lover girl is very sweet. She's soft. She's connected. She's openly expressive.
Okay.
She's affectionate, and she's vulnerable.
So she's like heart on her sleeve.
She's a heart on her sleeve. Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
And I feel like why I'm so interested in this archetype is because I used to look down on it.
Really?
And women that embody this archetype, I used to look down on them, to be honest, because I used to think that they were weak, honestly.
Yeah.
And now looking back on it, I realized that I was jealous because I couldn't embody it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what it was like to be safe enough to embody something like that.
Yeah. To just like be fully vulnerable and like relax like into not even relax into yourself, because it's very chaotic to be a lover girl, but like to just,
it can be,
ooh, God, yes,
for sure.
Yeah, like, but really just
because
like
it's vulnerable. Anything that's vulnerable has the threat of being chaotic.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to let that threat be present.
We're all a lover girl before our first heartbreak.
100%.
Like every single one of us, like we are all lover, because it's
maybe this is like a girl at her purest form, honestly.
No, literally. Yeah. Like actually, because like it's heartbreak that turns a lover girl into
something
other form. Yeah. Right. Like,
well, that's why I feel like a lover girl, somebody that really is able to embody this archetype in an empowered way. I feel like either she's very lucky. She just like hasn't been hurt, don't know her, but maybe
none of us know her.
Or she's done a lot of fucking self-work and has chosen to be this way. Or she's met somebody that makes her feel safe enough to embody this archetype. And
we all look over at Jake.
Yeah. I never have been able to embody this archetype until I met my husband, because I never felt safe enough to do that. And when it first started happening, it was really uncomfortable because I was like, who the fuck am I? Yeah. This is not me. And I felt very not protected by like my own, you know, internal protectors. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I can't do that. Yeah. No, absolutely not. Yeah. And so it was super uncomfortable and scary. But the more that I leaned into it, the more just like amazing it was, because it does feel like a very pure form of being a human. And it's not just like woman focused. I feel like anybody can be, you can be a lover boy, you can be a lover non-binary person. It doesn't fucking matter.
A lover, they, them.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
A lover is they, them.
Yeah. But so it really does, if somebody is able to make you be safe to be a lover girl and you haven't been before, fuck yeah. Yeah. To them, to everything. Yeah. And I will say that this archetype, I feel like, can be fetishized by men. Sure. Unfortunately. Sure. In the way that maybe they do seem weak, or maybe they do seem like a pleaser. Yeah. And men will take advantage of that. Yeah. And be like, okay, you're here to soothe me and please me. Just because you can, that's what you have to do. Yeah. And that's when like they put them, and anytime somebody fetishizes you, they put you in a box. And that makes it a stereotype instead of an archetype.
Absolutely.
And I feel like a shadow of this archetype can also be that when you are vulnerable with people, unfortunately, I hate to say this because I don't want people to feel this way, but when you wear your heart on your sleeve, a lot of times you do get hurt.
Oh, yes.
I feel like this archetype is very vulnerable to pain because they wear on their sleeve. And also sometimes that might make them, they're empathetic, and that might make them pick the wrong people.
So when I was married during that era of my life, that was the only time in my life that I have ever experienced the lover girl archetype. And it was it was beautiful. Like going through that was beautiful. Experiencing that was beautiful. And it was very, 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 very painful when it ended. And it's a pain that like I still get like twinges of every once in a while when I'm like processing something. Yeah. And to me, it was one of the most valuable times of my life because of what I've learned since then. Yeah. And just because of like, you know, being married for like 10 years it's a huge portion of your 3 decades on this earth.
And for 10 years?
I was married for 10 years.
I don't know. Is that long?
Yeah, it was almost 11, I think.
It's a lot of fucking years.
It was a lot of years.
That's a decade.
Yeah, no, it was a lot. Like it was yeah, like
girl math.
Girl math. I love that.
It's the only math I can do.
When I understand the beauty of that relationship, like it brought out a very innocent part of me that was like very dedicated to the concept of love.
The love girl.
Exactly. So that's,
I love that. And I think that is beautiful. Yeah. I do think that there is a healthy level of self-protection.
Oh, God bless. Yes.
People need to have. And I think that you get that from heartbreak, unfortunately. I wish you didn't. So whether you are the lover girl, have always been into your lover girl energy, whether you want to go into a lover girl era, like you're saying, like you want to be able to do that again and feel safe enough to do that with somebody again. I think I don't need to tell you this, but an empowered version of that is still having a level of self-protection.
For sure.
You know, of being able to be soft, but also having boundaries.
Being able to be soft and having boundaries. I love that.
And
because I didn't have boundaries when I was married. I was just like, nope, none of that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's very easy to lose sight of that, especially when you feel like you have something so special, something that transcends boundaries. Yes. Nothing should transcend boundaries.
No. No.
And
relationship.
I think also like learn your red flags, learn from the people that hurt you, and don't pick them again. not
Live and learn, girlies.
You can be soft, you can be vulnerable, but not everybody deserves access to you.
Yes.
Only give the lover girl to the people who deserve it.
Yes.
That's, I feel like, how you can be an empowered version.
I love that.
The lover girl.
I love that.
Okay. So I'm curious, what are the hot girl archetypes that you feel like you embody the most?
Okay. So before I was where I am today, historically, I used to be a siren, which is a little bit damning.
We love the siren.
We love the siren. So all these primitive forms of hot girl archetypes that we talk about, the reason why they're primitive is because they are unconsciously serving the male gaze in some way, shape, or form.
They're fetishized.
Oh, so fetishized.
Yeah.
And the way the siren works is she turns the male gaze back to him. Yes.
That's how so?
Okay.
I love that though.
Yes. So she's basically a mirror into his desire. She's basically like, here's all the things that you want, that you need, that you wish for, that you yearn for, that you fetishize.
Yeah.
And I am showing it to you, and I want to see, will you choose your desire, or will you choose my humanity?
So she separates the weak from the strong.
Completely. And she only finds weak men. She only finds weak men because only weak men give in to her.
Interesting.
And that is a really interesting experience because, like, if you think about just like through mythology and just through the history of humanity.
Well, sirens are my favorite mythological character.
I love sirens so much because, like, we like, again, this is, and if you're my ex listening to this, you know who I've been. So, but like literally we like turn their desire to them and we say, are you going to choose like your development, your growth, your like archetype as a man growing into something more complex, or are you going to choose your most base impulses? And that is exactly what the fuck a siren does. She's beautiful. She's alluring. She's sensual. She's sexual. She's intelligent. She's powerful, but not in her own right yet, but for the sake of seeing, will a man treat her right? Or will a partner treat her right? Like, we don't have to say man.
But that's what she wants. That's what she's trying to get. And then other people just perceive her as like almost this temptress.
Yes, completely. And like, it's never coming from a place of like, harm or like I'm trying to fuck things over or like fuck things up or like chaos or anything like that. It's truly coming from a place of like, are you committed to your growth or are you committed to your stagnation? And that's a lot of the times the men will consider their stagnation to be what matters because the temptress, the siren, the person in front of them is way more alluring than growth. Way more alluring than seeing the person, which is why a lot of the sirens will be 30 and younger. It's really rare. It is really rare to see a hot girl archetype of a siren past the age of 30.
How come?
Because the front part of our brain and the back part of our brain finish connecting, and we end up in a place where we don't feel compelled to continue to test the male archetype that gives into the siren, which is the hero pulled off of his path.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you a hero or are you fucking weak? Because that's it. It is true. It is true. And so,
what is the Odyssey?
Yeah.
Homer.
The Iliad and the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Homer, whatever the fuck his name.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like, that's the thing. Like men get tested, quote unquote. We never really chose to be what men test themselves with. We just kind of inherited that.
You fall into that.
You do.
That's what I feel like you do with these archetypes. You fall into them.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Intentionally.
Yeah, because they're unconscious.
Exactly.
And you can't control the unconscious. And then once the unconscious becomes conscious, then you can choose what archetype you want to be.
Which leads me into who I've chosen to be. So once I learned that I was a siren, which is kind of like what gave rise for a lot of this like hot girl psychology, was just you and I hanging out and talking and like figuring out like a lot of different like experiences that we've had being hot and like how that has led to a lot of really unique experiences that we've had in life. So what I have determined is that the archetype that I fall into now that I am completely free from like trying to give into the male gaze, trying to give into the archetypes that like limit me, the archetypes that make me vulnerable to being damaged rather than hurt. Hurt is okay, damaged is not.
Yeah.
Right. So the archetype that I fall into the most now, being a founder and CEO, is the queen archetype. Yes.
Love it.
I do too. I do too. It is so much better than any other archetype I've ever been part of. So the archetype that I fall into is the queen archetype. And that is the one who understands that she has power, understands that she is power, and understands that her power is what makes her something that actually moves humanity forward, not stagnates it, not pulls it backward. So I am committed to a timeline and a future that is always forward moving. I'm not committed to a timeline that is designed to stagnate, and I'm not committed to a timeline that is designed to pull backwards. But forward moving sometimes looks like being here right now. And being here right now is not something that is threatening to me. It is something that is embodying. It is something that is whole. It is something that is nurturing. And it is something that is meaningful. So the queen archetype, she doesn't play games. She doesn't really concern herself with the ups and the downs of romantic relationships or people pleasing or trying to fit to a smaller box than what she fits into. She understands who she is. She commits to what she's going to be, and she doesn't bend for any reason unless there's an actual deep meaning to it. I don't compromise my boundaries, period.
Is there a shadow? Or are there any downsides to being the queen?
You can get stuck up.
Okay.
Yeah, stuck up is kind of like a thing that can happen. But like the thing about the queen archetype is like she notices when she's being stuck up because she watches how other people react. She watches like how other people receive her.
She's very aware.
Yeah, she's oriented to how she's received. She's oriented to receiving, and she's oriented to how she is received. And so she like orients around like, if this makes other people like extremely uncomfortable, and if there's a pattern with that discomfort, like perhaps I need to work on something. If this is something that's one person that is uncomfortable, or a pattern of people are uncomfortable with me, it may not necessarily be me, it may be my environment. You know, so you have another one to share. Tell me what it is.
Yes. Okay. I have a few that are mine.
Yes.
Okay. I have three. So I have the one that I actually am at my core. That is the emo girl. I'll get to her. But then I have one that I used to embody a lot, which is the femme fatale.
Okay.
And then one that I tried to embody for a really long time, which is the nurturer.
Okay.
I also did try at times to embody cool girl. Couldn't get there. I will never be cool girl. I'll never be guys girl. Can't do it. Some people just can't. I sang opera and it wasn't fucking cool at all. Nobody thought that was cool. It is now. I like sang opera and memorized fucking 25 Shakespeare sonnets, and it was not fucking cool. It was not fucking cool.
Okay.
Anyway,
so emo girl, talk to me about her.
Okay, now I'll get to emo girl.
No, not emo girl. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, because that's like the core. But
yes,
I'll start with the first one, which I feel like is the one that I used to embody, which is femme fatale. Similar to Siren in some ways, but I feel like it's Siren, but make it from a neo-noir film in the 1950s.
Is she like going to step on somebody with her stilettos?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's okay.
Potentially. She's not necessarily the sneak cyanide in my husband's martini, like we were talking about last time. She's not murderer, but that's a different archetype that we can get into.
Murder girly.
She's close to it, I would say. And she has a lot of good attributes. I would say she's outwardly sexy.
Yeah, she's devastatingly sexy.
Yes. She is mysterious. Yeah. Huge part. She's suave. She's alluring. She's dark. She's unattainable.
Yes.
And independent.
Yes.
And for those reasons,
she's what money can't buy.
But she also reminds me of the other woman.
Ooh.
Because she is so perfect.
Yeah.
She's the fantasy.
Yeah.
You know, she is not the woman that you bring home to mom.
Yeah.
And she's not the woman that you do mundane life with. And I think that that's why she's so highly fetishized.
Yeah.
Because she is just the fantasy. Yeah. She's not a whole human. She's not really human. You know?
She's a primitive form of a hot girl.
She's a primitive form of a hot girl.
Okay.
And that's the way that she is seen. And I feel like I very much embodied this when I was young.
Sure.
I dressed the part.
Yeah. I
was very calculated in what I said. I was very Machiavellian.
Yes. Yes.
For what reason? I don't know. I'm not actually capable of hurting anybody. I never have. I really just wanted unconditional acceptance.
Yeah.
But reflecting on it, I do feel like this part or this persona was a mask that I wore to protect myself from vulnerability. I thought that this is what I had to do to not get hurt. I was
okay.
To me, this is almost the opposite of the lover girl.
Yeah. Okay. So like two poles.
Yes. It was like the polar opposite. And I very much was like into hyper independence as well.
Yeah.
And trying to stay in my power, and sexuality was kind of a part of that.
Sure.
It was a very confused part of that. I don't think that I did that successfully at all.
Sure. Successfully.
But yeah, successfully. Successful should honestly be the name of this podcast.
But like actually.
I feel like I no longer need to embody this archetype as much because I no longer feel the need to be as self-protective.
Sure.
And as afraid of vulnerability. So I don't wear this mask as much.
Sure.
I still think I might look on the surface a little bit like this if you don't get to know me, and then you get to know me and you're like, that's
I can see it. Like your wedding photos, I can see the femme fatale.
Yeah.
You know, like she's like dark hair, dark eyes, dark everything, and white dress.
Yeah. Well, those are probably the first photos that you saw.
That was literally the first picture I saw.
Met. Yes. Just gotten married when
yes.
met. Yeah.
Oh my God. So crazy.
I do think that this is a great archetype, though. Even though it is primitive, I think that there's a lot of ways that you can grow in this. I
Absolutely.
think that a big part of it is just allowing yourself to be real. You don't just need to be the fantasy, the fetish, or a vessel. You're a whole human.
Yeah.
And figure out what the other parts are.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun. And if you embody this archetype strongly and you embody it forever, that's not a bad thing at all. But just get to know the other parts of yourself. Let yourself be a whole human. You're not just the fetish.
So what are your evolved femme fatale traits?
This part is very self-protective.
Yeah.
And I think that is good in a lot of ways. And the biggest thing that people always commented on about me was that they thought I was mysterious. And I wasn't mysterious. I was just quiet. And I was quiet because I was scared and I was self-protective, you know? And so I'm not saying that that's necessarily a good part, but that part has protected me from a lot of things.
Absolutely.
You know, the things that the lover girl might get hurt from, I wouldn't, because I wasn't willing to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that really answers your question.
It answers it perfectly.
But yeah, I think becoming a whole human and embracing other archetypes helps me be able to, like you said, like you can play the siren when you want. I can play the femme fatale when I want.
I love that so much.
And I would say that that's probably the way that I've been able to do this in a healthy, empowered way. Mm-hmm. Okay. Secondly,
yes,
this is the part that I tried to embody, that I purposely embodied, and it's called the nurturer. That's what I'm calling it. This is very similar to the caretaker, which is a Jungian archetype. But make her hot.
Mother, but make her hot. What do we call those? We aren't saying that in the show.
To me, this is like the hot nurse. Like,
yes. Hello, nurse.
It is like she's a helper. She's a healer. She's motherly. She is beautiful but wholesome. And she's sneakily sexy versus overtly sexy, like the femme fatale. I feel like I over-identified with being a helping professional when I became one. Because for those of you that don't know, I became a teacher and then a therapist, and both I over-identified with like crazy, because before that I was a model and I felt not good about myself.
Sure.
Until I became a helping professional, and I don't like that. But that's that was the trajectory. And I feel like I very much wanted to get away from the femme fatale.
Yeah.
And I wanted to rebrand myself. That's literally how my mind works.
No, but that's
dramatic I am.
We are all rebranding until we're there.
I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but
no, not at all.
In for these years, I feel like this lasted like 4 years, I want to say.
Okay. Like 4 more years.
4 or 5, maybe 5 years. But I wanted it to be seen as wholesome.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be seen as a useful helper. And I started dressing differently. I started wearing less makeup.
Yeah.
I actually wore fake glasses.
No, you didn't.
No prescription. I have perfect vision. No prescription.
I wore fake glasses when I was 17.
And my
I had to get real glasses.
I was like 24, 23, 24. So it's not 17. That's fine. But 24, you were not a child anymore. But I felt like I wore them because I wanted to be taken seriously. I think this is when I was a teacher. I wanted to be taken seriously, and I thought that it would get me more respect. Yeah. And I thought that I feel like this, in the same way that the femme fatale this was a way to keep myself safe.
Yeah.
And this specifically was a way to rebrand myself, to keep myself safe from men.
Yes.
And like sexual trauma.
Yes.
Because I was like, okay, if men don't think that I am overtly sexy, they won't see me as an object, and then they won't try to hurt me.
Wow.
How fucking sad is that?
That's devastating.
I wore fake glasses for that reason.
That's devastating.
Like, men won't hurt me if I do this.
Yeah, that's a deep desire for like intense protection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So you were like not just nurturing like others, but yourself as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So
but I masked it
in yourself.
I masked it in caretaking for others.
Yeah.
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 But that's what codependency is.
Completely.
And the caretaker, that's I feel like the shadow of the
is codependent.
Of the nurturer, of the caretaker. It is codependency. And if you know anything about codependency, it's not just the person that's dependent on you. Do. It's the caretaker that's even more codependent, because they derive their meaning
and
value from being useful to others.
Yes.
From taking care of them, from doing too much and asking for nothing.
Yes.
And I feel like that's a big shadow of this part, is not knowing your needs and not having your needs. And I was very much like that. And this was the time in my life that I learned to not have any boundaries.
Yeah.
And this is where martyrdom came into play.
Yeah.
And it's something that I still struggle with today. And I am in a helping profession, so it can be dangerous to be this kind of person.
Very female of you.
Yeah. But it can be dangerous to be codependent in a helping profession. And so it's something that I try to just be mindful of. And I've talked to you about too. And I've asked for your advice on.
Absolutely.
Of like, I think that I'm not having good boundaries. I think that this client is too attached to me. What did I do? Because I'm the one that was supposed to set the rules.
Oh my God, over-personalizing. Yeah, so yes. So
one.
Yes.
Okay, so this is who I really am. And I've always been. And I've tried not to be.
Black my eyes.
Black my eyes.
Because my heart is going to hell real soon.
I am the emo girl.
The emo girl.
The emo girl. I also could be known as the sad girl or the goth girl.
Oh my God.
All the same shit. I am the embodiment of the emo girl. And if you get to know me at all, you'll know that. And this is me like in my truest form, no masking.
Sure.
And I've very much leaned into this in my older age.
Because in your older age, she says.
I feel like I was like,
we're so young.
I thought for so long, I was like, people don't like this side of me. I can't do this. And I was very conditioned, like where I grew up and stuff like that, to not like certain sides of me, this side in particular. And then I got to a certain age and I was like, oh, this isn't a side, this is the side.
This side, it's all.
I am emo girl. And okay, so emo girl, she's dark, of course.
So
She a lot of times wears black, has heavy makeup, not necessarily, but a lot of times. She's very deep. She's very existential.
yes.
She's very empathetic. And a lot of times she's an artist type.
Am I an emo girl?
Yeah, you definitely can be.
Okay.
I don't know that you lead with it.
No.
You definitely can be.
I can be.
Yeah.
So, okay. So she's
I
artist.
lead.
Yes. Yes, you fucking do.
I lead with
So-
it now. I think I always did. I just like tried to pretend that I
When I met you, you 1,000% did.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
like
So,
this girl is emo.
like, she's so emo. I love her so much. Oh my God. I'll take care of her.
So but emo girl, I'll get back to me. I'll get back here. But emo girl, I feel like can be fetishized in
Yes.
two different ways. One being like a not great way, meaning like people look at emo girl and think that she's broken. Specifically men, because men love to fix things.
Men love to take a project and make it work.
Yeah. And so they're just like, oh my God, she's so broken. Let me fix her. Let me be the hero. Let me get into that fucking archetype. But they're like, oh, like I can be like her savior.
Oof.
And the emo girl doesn't necessarily need a savior.
She doesn't.
She's not broken.
A journal and a pen.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And a microphone.
Hey.
And then there's another way that I feel like she's, I don't know if fetishize is the right word, but like can be magnetic. And I think that this way is that people gravitate to her because they see themselves in her.
Yeah.
In that darkness. And they see some sort of comfort and safety in the sadness that she projects because they're sad too, because everyone is fucking sad. And that's why I feel like people feel like they can be real with her. And that's actually a note that I have gotten from a lot of people. It's like a positive note is people are like, oh, like I feel like I can just be myself with you or whatever. And I remember too, even when I just started embodying the emo girl and, you know, like was like in my goth makeup and stuff like that, so many women would say to me, I want to dress like you and look like you. I can only do it on Halloween. And I hate that. Like, and just like, I really admire you for being able to do that and stuff like that. And I'm like, you can do it too.
You can do it any fucking day, ladies.
To be goth. Like, you can be goth at any time. If that's how
I was goth at 10 years old.
Same.
Really? This is literally why I'm doing a podcast.
I've been goth forever. But
God, we're so similar. It's crazy.
It's important for your internal to match your external.
1,000%.
For your external to match your internal.
So if I'm dark on the outside, I'm dark on the inside.
Exactly. And I feel like that's why a lot of people would gravitate towards me. And it's not even necessarily being a therapist or having that aura. It's literally just them being like, oh my gosh, I see that you're dark on the outside. You must be dark on the inside. I'm dark on the inside. And I need to talk to you and I need to sit in pain with you. And that's like a big strength of the emo girl. She can sit in pain. She can sit in the discomfort of that. She can sit in other people's pain. And that to me is the deepest version of empathy. It's not trying to
I love this.
solve somebody's problems. It's sitting with them in the discomfort of pain and going there with them.
Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And so I feel like, again, maybe some people these days think that I'm femme fatale, but like 2 minutes into a conversation, they're just like, what the fuck? Because I'm like asking questions like, where do you derive your meaning? What is your deepest mother wound?
What is your deepest
What are
father
your
wound?
protective parts afraid of? And what wounded warriors are they trying to protect?
Yeah, I love this. That's good.
Actually, I went right before I met Jake. Sorry, I went on a date with somebody, and I was
sorry.
I must have been 26, and I was just like, I'm not gonna fucking fake it, and I was like, I'm not gonna do the femme fatale thing. I'm gonna be myself.
Okay.
And I was just like real, and I remember one of the conversations that we had, he was complimenting my outfit, just trying to give me like a lighthearted compliment, and I was like, I don't know, like if I died in this, I don't know if I'd be happy. He's like, what? And I was like, well, do you ever think about the fact that if you die and go to purgatory, you're gonna have to live out eternity in the outfit that you died in?
You didn't. You were my favorite person.
I did. And so if you die and you go to purgatory, you are going to have to live out eternity in that fucking outfit. Would you be happy with the outfit that you chose? You should think about that every time you get dressed. And he's like, what the fuck? Oh my God.
Whereas Jake is like, yeah, baby, I get it.
Yes. He's like, that's why I picked out this leather jacket this morning.
Literally, like he wears the leather jacket here every time. I'm like, if you
every time
shot, I'm here.
Well, we've had this conversation. That's why he chose it. Because he likes it. This guy, I could tell, was like pretending to like it because clearly like
he wanted to like fuck you.
He wanted to fuck me.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. But
good.
Yeah, but because
I didn't understand the leather jacket.
Because
Jake's over there like, yeah, bitch. Fuck yeah.
But like, that's fucking how I am. And I feel like I was so insecure about this for the longest time because like I didn't embrace it. I feel like I mean, forever I was called like the opposite of a ray of sunshine. People called me Wednesday Addams growing up. I mean, now shit like this is cool. Like I was before my time, I guess, because this is not cool. People call me Wednesday Addams as a total fucking insult. And
fuck them. Have you seen
No, I know. And
literally,
people like her heal my fucking inner child.
Good.
Every time I see that, I'm like, yes, people are thinking that this is a good thing now, and fuck yes. And I always got the comment of, "You're beautiful. You should smile more."
Fuck off. I will
always
you in the eye.
Always. And now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't heard that in a while. Maybe life is changing because I'm not smiling.
I don't leave my house, so nobody can talk to me.
I get a lot of comments from dudes, and I haven't gotten that one in a while. So I'm like, maybe the world is changing because I'm definitely not smiling.
Talk to me anymore, and not because I'm ugly, but because I'm like fucking vicious. I'm like actually like vicious.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, the vicious archetype is coming next.
Yes. Ooh, like the snake or like the anaconda, like biting. Yes. Okay. Anyway, I feel like to me that is the shadow of this archetype of the emo girl is just feeling like you're too intense and feeling like you're too much for people.
Yeah.
And then like a constant fear of rejection because of that. And then doing things to make sure that you can't be rejected. I'm more scared of rejection than abandonment, but also abandonment feels like rejection to me. So they're kind of interchangeable.
I feel like it's like BPD.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
We know.
We all have that.
If you know, we know.
But
the more you know.
Yeah.
So like the fear of rejection, the fear of like just like not being accepted because like, at least for me, it was like because like I'm too much. I'm not bubbly. I'm not lighthearted, but yes, you are though. Like, what are you talking about?
I mean,
to me,
I'm definitely not. Well, because you're also an emo girl. That's why you think so.
No, I'm an emo girl.
I'm definitely not what somebody would call bubbly, but I've learned to accept that, and that's fine. And because, like, I think back on it now, and I could not be a therapist or a dark romance author if I was any other way.
Yeah.
Because those are not jobs for lighthearted, bubbly bitches. Those are jobs for dark bitches. And those are jobs for freaking emo girls.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I wouldn't be able to do those things without being an emo girl. And, you know, and I just have to be okay and accept the fact that not everybody loves that. Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not everyone's going to say, I love that.
Love that.
Yes. And I feel like a way that I try to be this way, empowered, is just not being afraid of too much. Yeah. And allowing myself to feel my feelings and have deep conversations and ask the deep questions and do all the things. However, allowing space for levity as well. Yeah. Because life is sad, but it's not only sad.
Yes. Life is everything. Mm-hmm. Life is everything. Life is a whole fucking spectrum of experience. Mm-hmm. And sadness, where dark exists, light exists. Mm-hmm. Where sadness exists, happiness.
Yes.
Is also key.
Yes. And we don't necessarily even have a base emotion. I feel like we think happiness is our base emotion.
Yes.
And that's why we shy away from sadness. We shy away from anger, all of those things. But we don't come into the world smiling. We come in crying.
Screaming.
You know?
We are screaming.
We're a range of emotions.
We are
supposed to be. And we're a range of archetypes. And we are supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And that's why we slip in and out of all of these archetypes. We're not necessarily one of them all of the time.
Nope.
And none of these archetypes are a box, and none of them are good or bad.
Exactly.
And there's a way to also be an empowered version of all of these archetypes.
Every single one of them. And as you listen to our episodes, we will talk about more empowered versions of the archetypes as time goes on. And we will talk about more of like what we've been through and how we have embodied different archetypes throughout time.
Yes.
So tune in next week for episode 3.
Learn how to be a hot girl.
Be a hot girl.
Learn how to just be, but also
we are a hot girl and hot at the same time. Being hot is an activity.
It is. It's a decision and an activity, and something that takes mindfulness.
We love mindfulness.
We love mindfulness.
Tune in next week for more mindfulness activities, like being hot.
Yes. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Love you, darling.
Love you. Bye.